want to like you too. I mean, that's part of it too, because you give me so much, you know, you give me so much in your eyes and your energy, and you remind me of good things. This reel is so fabulous. Because like that scene from Bones, I didn't even remember that scene. When it came on this morning, I said, what is that? And I had a bad experience. It's an interesting point of view thing. When I got that part, it was an offer. And I went for my costume. I read the script. I was so excited. And I said, oh, yes, I'll take it. And I went to the costume fitting. I took my daughter. And it was this fabulous character. And she was from Santa Fe. And she was wearing caftans and jewelry. And I couldn't wait for this costume fitting. And I go in, and they're giving me, well, you saw what I was wearing, like jeans and a shirt and a peak down. I said, gosh, this isn't really the way it's written in the script. And she looked at what I was showing her, and she said, oh, that's a different character. No, you're, you know, the wife and the mother making lemonade. And I was like, oh. And I'd already accepted the part, and I was already, you know, and it wasn't as big a part, it wasn't as flashy a part. And I was so sad. I think I cried in the costume. I mean, I didn't sob, but and my daughter knew that my heart was broken. And so that job, I just didn't ever feel that great about it. I mean, I did, I knew David because I had done, what was that thing he did, Ghost or something? Angel. I had done Angel, and I knew him and liked him. And so we got along well, and the producer was a friend of mine. So it wasn't a terrible experience. But I don't even think I ever watched it, maybe. Or if I did, I just didn't think that much about it. So that tells you how much a prior event can influence something. My work was still good, but it wasn't in my heart. I didn't cherish it. Now I saw that scene, I said, that's great. That's like a great little scene. And I made, you know, well, put it in my reel. So it's all that kind of stuff can affect you. So what's really happening underneath it all makes a big difference. And so that's the, so it's the event and then the real event. And then the evaluation. Is it life or death? You know, like coming in here today with you guys, I want you to like me, but I'm not going to drop dead if you don't. And I also have learned that, like, is it 20%, 30% aren't going to like you no matter what you do. I mean, somebody's going to fall asleep in the audience, or somebody's going to say, oh, I know her type. Or what, it's just the way it is, the way we are. We try not to be, we all try to keep our hearts open and meet new people and embrace them with love, but we are human. And that's going to happen. So I'm never going to win anyway, 100%. So might as well relax and just enjoy myself. So the evaluation is not life or death, but it could be. You know, if one of you has a gun, and it's my little secret that, you know, I know that one of you has a gun, and I better keep you happy during this. That changes everything. And so it's the evaluation. Is it life or death? Is it casual? And then what's the weather like? Is it hot? You know how it is when it's so hot you can barely talk? I know I did a series called, I was talking about this morning, Maximum Bob, Elmore Leonard novel in Miami. We were shooting in the summer in Miami. And it's the hottest I've ever been in my life. The humidity is 100% or more. And we're shooting in the swamp. And there was one time we were, do y'all know Garrett Dillahunt? He's on the Mini Project, and he was Raising Hope, and he was in No Country for Old Men. We've worked together many, many times. Mini Project's the first time we ever had scenes together, though. But anyway, he played a cop, and he had to be in an all-wool uniform with bulletproof vest, and he was jumping and leaping over cars, and I was in, like, skimpy little summer halter or something, and I could barely move, and we were sitting in these chairs, and all we could say was, oh, it's so hot. I'm so hot. Can you believe how hot it is? And I didn't even know how my lines were going to come out of my mouth. They did somehow. Your brain keeps working. But that's very different than when I'm freezing, which has happened too, that I've had to work when it was so cold. And of course, ironically, that's always when you have to play hot, when you're freezing. I can think of this up Northern California. I was sitting on the front porch. It's supposed to be hot, hot summer, and I was literally shaking like this, and goosebumps all over me, and I'm saying, don't you want some lemonade? You do it. You just, you know, mind over matter. Somehow when the camera rolls, that ego gets in there in the good way, and you channel it, and it's all fine. And so anyway, that's evaluation, and you just evaluate the temperature. Where are you? Who are you talking to? What are you really trying to say? What are you saying underneath? What's the subtext? And then what is the surface? And then there's physical action. I'm big on physical action because I talk a lot with my hands, as you've noticed, but I like to have props. And many, many times I'll ask the prop. I remember in Rain Man, I had to go to the door and answer the door for Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise, and I had 6 kids. And I suddenly got this idea. I went to the prop guy and said, "Do you have a diaper by any chance?" And he did, because they use them to clean the lenses. And so he gave me a diaper, and I thought, wouldn't a mom of 6 kids maybe be washing dishes and drying her dishes with a clean diaper? And so I had a diaper, hopefully, and I took it and I held it in my hand while I did the scene. And you can barely see it, but I knew that I was bringing all that history of being the mama bear. I'm the mama bear, and I'm in charge, and I've got this diaper, and I've got something in my hand that I can hold on to. And another character I played, this Appalachian woman, she was dying, and I got this from my mom, she always had a tissue in her hand. So I kept a tissue in my hand. Most people probably didn't see it, but I was grounded with that tissue, and I could play that tissue, whatever monologue I was doing, you know. And so I love props, I love physical stuff, physical action. And if you use props and you use physical actions, you don't have to act, because you're doing. The lines come out, but you're busy, you know, baking a cake or whatever it is that's in the scene. So I love physicalization, inner life, outer life. Like we talked before, I may be really nervous inside, but I may put on a very cool exterior, or vice versa. I used to say, I know deep down inside all this insecurity is a very secure person. I've always trusted that I had talent somewhere under there if I could just get to it, you know, and it took a long time to start realizing how to do that. But I had a fantasy when I was a little girl that I had a magic zipper that ran down my spine, and if I could ever get the key to that zipper, out would come this beautiful blue-eyed blonde cheerleader. But my parents had the key, and they worked for God and the mafia. Little demented kid. But it's funny, it's sort of a great symbol, it's a metaphor for what I have discovered is that you peel away that stuff and you do reveal your soul. And that's what it is. It's really your soul. And my husband said to me in a play once, I'm all over the place, but I hope y'all are following. It seems like y'all are all with me. You're all artists, you get it? But he came to a dress rehearsal and he said, it's great, everything's there, but you got to reveal your soul. And I said, what is he talking about, revealing my soul? How do you reveal your soul? And then the next night at rehearsal, I was standing on stage, and all of a sudden I just like stood there. And I just was quiet for a minute, and I just sort of opened up, and I just let her come. And so ever since then, it's much easier. It's like riding a bike. Once you know what that is to open up, it's easy. And so you just get these tools and you hang on to them. I like creative hiding. I like that if I'm in a very emotional state that I might play my dress and pull my dress down, and I can put all my emotion in that dress. And there are all these alternatives that you can play with, like I mentioned before, you know, fear, anger, sexiness, funniness, whatever it is, and you can do the scene in rehearsal all those ways. If you don't have time, you do it in your imagination. So alternatives, I think that's pretty much it, and it's a checklist. I have it written down, and he wrote a book too called Acting Class, and it's a very simply written book. He is a Scientologist, I'm not, but I'll just warn you, and I don't have anything against, I've known a few and they're fine. None of my business, I don't care what anybody's religion is. But just if you see that little paragraph, there's a little paragraph at the end that's dedicated to L. Ron Hubbard. Don't get worried. The book is separate from that. But it's a very, very simple book, and that's the technique. So that's basically my approach. But I also use hairdos, physicalization, glasses, clothes. I mean, one time when I was auditioning for Max and Bob, Barry Sonnenfeld, the great director, was directing, and it was this swamp woman, and it to me had to be extreme because the way it was written and the way it was described in the book. And I went in my closet and I found the right dress, and I did this crazy hairdo, and I found these big thick glasses, and I wore these old Oxford shoes, And I thought, this might be too much, you know. And I said, I know what I'll do. I'll check myself. I'll go get gas, and we'll see how people react. And I figured if they laugh and say, oh, you're going to a Halloween party or something like that, or see how they react. So I got out of the car and I walked over and I had my little, you know, put it in, and I noticed everybody was very respectful. And they were a little scared. But they weren't thinking that I wasn't real. And so I thought, I'm okay. And I walked right down Sunset Strip like that swamp woman. And then I got the part. And so there are times, and my husband has a story that he was auditioning to play someone's ID in this movie called The Neighbors Next Door, Jeffrey Jones. And he wore long red underwear to the audition. I mean, that takes a lot of courage. And it has to be real. You can't do that intellectually. You can't say, I know, I've got this idea, this will be showy. It's got to come from inside. But he had worked on the character, and he just felt that was it. And the casting director came out to get him and saw him and said, oh, no. And he said, oh, yes. And he leaped into the room and apparently went, ha! And he got it. But it's got to come from your work, your research, it's got to come from inside. You can't, if you do it artificially, you're not going to buy it. If you're going to take a risk, you better be grounded, you better be real, and you better have something to back it up. And so it's, you know, because people sometimes intellectually do stuff. It doesn't work. But, so that's sort of it. But and if you want to talk about anything else.